It's happening, and this isn't speculation anymore. This was the lead story today on Sportcenter. A major development has come out regarding the Los Angeles Lakers and their pursuit of Andrew Wiggins, and the discussion around the league has officially gone to another level. Over the past few days, rumors have been swirling non-stop about where the Lakers stand in these negotiations. But now, with fresh reports from some of the most respected insiders in basketball, this story has taken on a whole new level of seriousness. On the program earlier today, the panel broke it all down. Here's what was said. The Lakers have identified Andrew Wiggins as their prime target on the trade market. They see him as not just another piece, but as the kind of two-way wing who could fit seamlessly next to LeBron James and Anthony Davis and immediately raise the ceiling of this roster. And what makes this even more compelling is that these reports aren't coming from fringe voices. They're coming from some of the most plugged-in insiders in the business. Dan Wiggins, Mark Stein, names with credibility, names with connections deep in NBA circles. Both have now doubled down on the idea that the Lakers are positioning themselves for a real run at Andrew Wiggins. One of the key factors discussed on Sportcenter is Luka Doncic's extension in Dallas. With Doncic now locked in long-term, the dynamics of the Western Conference shift. The Lakers, according to Wiggins, no longer have the luxury of patience. They are expected to be aggressive, and Wiggins has emerged as the most realistic and desirable target available for them. What makes this even more intriguing is the timing. Rob Pelinka, the Lakers' general manager, is known for operating in silence. The moves he makes, whether it was the Anthony Davis trade years ago or the smaller deals that restructured the roster last season, almost always come together quietly and then suddenly become public when they're near the finish line. And the sense now, from what the insiders are saying, is that this situation could be approaching exactly that point. Sportcenter highlighted this as well. September is historically when unexpected deals sometimes come together. Late off-season trades, players on the move just before training camp. It happens. And as Stein and Wiggins emphasized, this one has legs. Multiple credible voices are saying the same thing. Wiggins to the Lakers is very much on the table. Now, let's not forget the bigger picture. The Lakers have been extremely cautious about what they're willing to give up. For months, they've drawn the line at including future first-round picks or key rotation players in these kinds of deals. That has been the sticking point. Golden State, or any team looking to move Wiggins, has naturally asked for significant draft capital in return. And until now, the Lakers have resisted. But with Doncic's extension tightening the championship window in the West, the Lakers' priorities may be shifting. The conversation today on Sportcenter was clear. Wiggins is the kind of player who could swing a playoff series. His defense on the wing, his ability to space the floor, and his experience playing championship basketball with the Warriors make him exactly the type of addition this roster has been missing. And that's why this story has the NBA world buzzing right now. So, where does this leave us? Well, according to Stein and Wiggins, this is no longer just smoke. This is a negotiation with real momentum, and the Lakers' pursuit of Andrew Wiggins is officially one of the biggest storylines of this offseason. On Sportcenter today, the conversation took an even deeper turn as the panel moved past the surface-level reports and into the heart of the matter, what an actual trade for Andrew Wiggins could look like. And let me tell you, the scenarios being floated around are fascinating. If Rob Pelinka manages to pull this off, it would be nothing short of masterful work. It wouldn't just address the need for a defensive wing who can score and create his own shot. It would also provide the Lakers with the kind of versatility that championship rosters are built on. Now, here's where things got really interesting on the show. A proposed framework was discussed, one that had the Lakers receiving not only Andrew Wiggins, but also Jaime Jaquez Jr. and Drew Timme from the Nets in a three-team arrangement. In this deal, the Miami Heat would send out Wiggins but get Rui Hachimura in return, while the Nets would land Maxi Kleber, a second-round pick, and some additional financial considerations. On the surface, this looks like an absolute win for Los Angeles. Wiggins alone would be a massive get, but adding Jaquez, who still has untapped upside, makes it look like a deal you say yes to. before the other side even finishes the offer. But as Sportcenter made clear, the question isn't about whether the Lakers would accept, it's whether Miami would ever go for something like this. The Heat have consistently valued Wiggins higher than just salary relief and role players. As one analyst noted, it's hard to imagine Pat Riley greenlighting a move of this magnitude without at least securing a future first-round pick in the process. That's where the real sticking point lies. And let's not forget the financial angle. Wiggins is owed close to $30 million next season, and with a player option looming, there's a very real chance he decides to secure his long-term financial stability by opting in. If that happens, whichever team holds his contract could be locked into paying a significant salary for a player whose long-term role might not perfectly align with their roster. For the Heat specifically, that becomes an even bigger gamble. If they underperform this year and Wiggins chooses to exercise that option, Miami would suddenly find themselves stuck in a position where they're paying premium money without necessarily getting premium results. That scenario could hamstring their flexibility in free agency, limit their ability to pursue other big names, and tie up their books at a time when every contender in the East is looking for wiggle room to add the missing piece. From their perspective, this proposed trade isn't just about what Wiggins can do on the floor, it's about long-term control of their salary sheet. Shedding that risk now, even if it means taking a little less value back in return, could be viewed as addition by subtraction. It's a complicated equation, one that perfectly explains why, as mentioned earlier, those talks stalled out when Miami's front office pushed for Rui Hachimura and a first-round pick as the starting point of negotiation. But here's where timing changes everything. The NBA is all about leverage, and leverage is never static. Back in June or July, the Heat had the ability to dictate terms because the offseason was wide open and teams had more options on the table. Fast forward to September, though, and that dynamic shifts. Training camp is just around the corner, rosters are close to being finalized, and the pressure to enter the season with balance and depth only intensifies. That urgency can completely flip the market. Teams that were firm on their asking price earlier in the summer may now be forced to reconsider if they feel a roster hole staring them in the face. The Lakers, for example, know they need another versatile wing defender and a secondary scorer, while the Heat recognize that holding Wiggins past camp only increases the risk of being locked into his salary long-term. That's why something that seemed like a non-starter 2 or 3 months ago suddenly feels like it has a pathway today. It's not just about the players on the court anymore. It's about timing, leverage, and the financial ripple effects that come with every decision. Of course, not every voice agrees with this growing optimism. Anthony Irwin, another reporter whose track record hasn't been as reliable, pointed out that the Heat are not actively shopping Wiggins and are curious to see what he can bring this season. He's not entirely wrong. Miami doesn't have an obvious replacement lined up if Wiggins were to be moved, and losing him would create as many questions as it answers. But, as several analysts on Sportcenter reminded viewers, skepticism is always part of these conversations until a deal gets across the finish line. In the end, here's the reality. If a trade resembling the one discussed actually goes through, it would be an outright steal for the Lakers. There's essentially no downside for Los Angeles. Wiggins gives them the wing defense, and scoring they've lacked. Rui Hachimura, while valuable, doesn't elevate the roster in the same way. And adding another young piece like Jaquez, that's icing on the cake. But as it stands, the prevailing wisdom is that Miami will hold firm until the right package, likely including draft capital, comes across the table. The momentum is real, though. Reports are flying in, insiders are doubling down, and what seemed like just another rumor earlier this summer is now a very real storyline. The Lakers' pursuit of Andrew Wiggins is gaining traction, and the weeks leading up to camp could prove decisive.